Hi everybody, this is Alchemist 2, and I'm back again with another movie review. Recently, I watched I think it was a movie that was filmed in 1997, I believe, or 98. I can't really recall when, but it's called 7 Days in Tibet. I mean, 7 Years in Tibet, and basically it's based on a true story, and the whole synopsis of the tale is we have a mountaineer named Heinrich Henner and his partner, Peter. They're off to claim this mountain that the Germans are calling our mountain, and in the name of German pride. Uh, this mountain has never been scaled before, and the summit is taller than any other mountain that's ever been climbed. It's just that insurmountable prize, the whole idea as to why do men climb mountains, because they're there and because of the challenge and the whole simplicity of it. Um, the story itself is very intriguing because we see a transformation occur with Heinrich, because at the first he comes across as arrogant, conceited, narcissistic, selfish, aloof, bitter, loner, a man who is miserable with life and prefers to be off by himself somewhere rather than with the group because he feels like he can do it best. He is self-reliant. He just comes across as a huge jackass. And he's not very likable at all. You don't really care that much for him at the very beginning. You just want to slap him around and say, "Get some sense, Heinrich." But um, this actually changes a little bit later. I won't say how or when or how this actually comes into place. It is the catalyst of the entire movie, the plot vehicle, basically. And as far as movies are concerned, this is absolutely breathtaking. The panorama is just gorgeous. It's phenomenal. Brad Pitt plays Heinrich to a T. Um, Heinrich was Austrian. I don't know if he's still. I think he is still alive, because they do mention him at the very end of the movie with added information. So, um, one of the aspects of his character that's played up pretty well at the very beginning. This is during World War II, right before the before the war actually began. Um, and seems like the Axis was winning everything at the time, and I think that the friendship between Austria and Germany was good, but they the Austrians didn't want to have any part with Germany because they just had all this national pride, and they were different from Germany. Yet they forget Hitler was Austrian, but that's just a little side note, kind of irony there. I'm pretty sure they figured that out a little bit later, but it just shows you the stereotypical Austrian, and I thought it was a very excellent portrayal, especially his turnabout and repentance and soul searching and his existentialism and just everything that he goes through. He basically goes through hell. He becomes a POW, and that's just a spoiler there. But what happens is during his expedition with Peter, they are unable to make the summit on the mountain that they have been called to go on expedition to, and they are taken by the Brits because the Brits are fighting the Germans. So guess what? Since Heinrich is part of the Socialist Party, he gets to go to jail. And I thought, oh, just things get worse and worse and worse for Heinrich, and he tries escaping and he fails miserably, and he does this 2 or 3 or 4 times, and he becomes the subject of derisive ridicule. And it's kind of like um, he was everybody else's fall guy and the source of levity among his fellow prisoners, as he says in the narrative. And it's kind of amusing, but it's also very sad at the same time. But we see him undergo this transformation uh, when they finally do make their escape and head on their way to Tibet. And it's really incredible the next sequence of events that occur. And I absolutely love this movie. I just think it's so wonderful, and it rekindles a sense of awe, and it's really spiritual and deep and profound, and it just accentuates what true joy and true religion are, and what and actually it's spirituality. It's not religion, it's spirituality, and there is a difference between spirituality and religion. And it's just such a gorgeous film, and I have so much respect for the Tibetans. And it's just it's the first film where I could say that I actually hate the Chinese, which doesn't happen very often to me because I love Chinese people, don't get me wrong, but in this case, I just wanted to kick the butt of that general. Ooh, I hated him. He was just such a douche. But what they show in that particular scene, I'm not going to mention what it is or what happens or what brings it about, but it shows that tolerance, nonviolence, and peace in a way of accepting your enemy and allowing him in on common goals and terms and showing him that you are no threat. It's actually a better way to deal with one's enemies. I mean, make your enemy a friend. That's the best way to combat them, I think. And it makes more sense. I mean, why use violence? Violence does no good. But this is just a sensational film. It is spectacular. The colors are just sumptuous. And it is a treat for the eye and the ear, and also for the heart, because I found it very uplifting, and you will cry. Yeah, so have your Kleenex ready, and be prepared for a journey that you will never soon forget. I give it 5 stars. I just think it is a remarkable film, and it should be watched, and it should be really digested, because it will stay with you. It's just one of those films that has such depth to it that it's a very teaching film and very edifying, in the sense that it shows you what is truly important in life itself, and how one should live in the world around them. It's not with negativity. It is you should live in a sense of acceptance with everything around you. There was a saying from Einstein that he felt his environment was benevolent, and if one has this perception about the world in which they live, then it shall manifest. And it's really interesting the way that that's portrayed in that sense, because I think that there's a lot of truth to that. And the Tibetan people, I have so much respect for them, and they are so gentle and so wise, and they just have so much to offer the outside world. And I'm hopeful that someday I will actually get to meet the Dalai Lama. Um, I think it's the Dalai Lama we all know and love today. If he is indeed that old, I think he is, but it's he's just a magnificent character and hard not to love, because he has this childlike innocence. He's curious about everything, and I think that is the essence of life itself: curiosity, imagination, creativity, the ability to love. All these different elements coming together and colliding and just forming what we know as existence in and of itself. I'm sorry to have become very philosophical at this point in time, but as far as movies are concerned, if you are interested in Tibetan culture, I would definitely rent it, because it's very accurate, especially with the prayer shawls. You give them prayer shawls, they pray over them, and they don't keep them, they give them back to you. It's actually, I learned that from many of Greg Braden's books, and I was seeing that and I thought, haha, that is true, and it made me smile. And of course, the mandala, when they're making the mandala, that actually, the interesting thing about mandalas is, besides their geometrical symmetry, is the fact that they are imperfect. They make a small imperfection, and no two are alike. They make them when they're in trance state. So it's just fascinating, and you can see this absolutely stunning, meticulously made mandala, and they make it. I'm not really sure why they make mandalas. Honestly, I wish I knew. I wish I had some information about that, but I have a special place in my heart for mandalas. They're very sacred to me. Same thing with prayer wheels and prayer cloths, anything like that. I know it may seem kind of silly to the outside world, but it's just such a absolutely spellbinding reminder that prayers are ongoing. They're continuous. It's a never-ending conversation, and there's so much truth to that. And it doesn't take. Um, you don't have to strain. You don't have to fight. It's just like breathing. So I thought I would share that too. So if you get a chance to see 7 Years in Tibet, and for Brad Pitt, he's just unbelievably good. He's just tremendous as an actor, and I think as one of his first roles, I don't know if he got an Oscar or not for this, but I think he deserved it, or the film got Best Picture. Probably quite a few Best Pictures. Is absolutely stunning, and John Williams as conductor, brilliant. Just there's nothing that I can nag about in this film. It's just from start to finish, it is a masterpiece.